Within the last week, a major YouTube video sponsor, Established Titles, came under fire with the accusations that it was a scam. And when I say major sponsor, I really do mean it. You've probably already seen the ads. They were everywhere. The concept is that they would grant you the title of Lord or Lady if you gave them $50. It's similar to the whole buy a star thing. But the main problem that people had with it was the deceptive marketing and advertisements that made it seem like you were actually buying land. YouTuber Scott Schaefer accused them of being a scam, and his video got very big very quickly. And this resulted in YouTubers who were sponsored by Established Titles mainly doing one of two things: public retractions or radio silence, probably in the hopes that this will all blow over, and it likely probably will. But one YouTuber, and a YouTuber based in the guitar world, hence why I'm covering it, did something a little bit differently. The YouTuber in question was Trogly's Guitar Show. Now if you're not familiar with Trogly, he's probably the only guitar YouTuber who uploads daily. I really don't know how he does it. But he released a video in defense of the company in question, and it didn't really go too well. I was live streaming when the video initially went live and I reacted to it live, but since then things seem to have changed. The video was unlisted and then it went private. I reached out and got a statement from Trogly about what really went down, and he does seem to have changed his stance quite a bit. But before we get there though, I want to put a few things into perspective that I think are quite important. If I told you that I was performing in front of over 20,000 people, I'll put a graphic on the screen to try and help you visualize that amount of people, how much do you think I'd be getting paid? I'm willing to guess it's more than $97, but $97 is what the YouTube AdSense was for a video that I put out that got 23,000 views. Now, 97 USD isn't exactly a whole lot, and that's why video sponsors in YouTube are so important and have become so important. In a lot of cases, they're the difference between someone being a full-time YouTuber or not. So I don't want to understate the importance of sponsors for many YouTubers, including myself. That said, the defense of certain sponsors can become biased because of this, and I do believe that this was the case with Trogly's initial video. And there's good reason to why I believe that. When it comes to Established Titles, apparently
they pay YouTubers incredibly well.
But just how well? Well, this YouTuber Sully got an offer.
They were pitching Established Titles at the time and were willing to pay me $3,500 for a single 60-second ad integration.
Now that is a lot for a channel with 35,000 subscribers. And Trogly has 250,000 subscribers. And that price was a fee for one video. Trogly signed up to do 50 different videos. Now if you wanted to take the 3.5k figure and times it by 50, that would mean that the payment is $175,000. Now that's very unlikely. There's much more likely a sizable bulk discount for the fees, let's say like $1,000 per video, which would be reasonable for a channel with 250,000 subs. That still means that 50 videos equals to 50 grand, which is quite a bit. Now I do want to be clear, this is just me guesstimating, so I could be completely wrong, but he wasn't doing it for free. And while the video itself that we're going to be looking at and talking about itself wasn't sponsored, we do have to acknowledge that the videos before it were, and the videos after it were. At the time the video was uploaded, Trogly had only fulfilled 26 out of the 50 video ads that he had signed up to do. So about half the money that was on the table was dependent on 24 more ad reads. So that's why it's pretty safe to say, even with the best of intentions, there will be some level of bias. Now I'm not going to show you the full video, but I am going to play some of the key points that some of which I agree with and some of them I don't agree with. Let's get into it.
If you're watching this video, you've probably seen a recent viral hit claiming Established Titles is YouTube's biggest scam. Established Titles might be overpriced for what you physically receive, but I'm here on my own, not sponsored by this company for this episode, to debunk the claims that were made in this video unfairly. Let's go step by step.
That when you buy one of their 1 square foot plots of land in Scotland, you aren't actually buying any land at all.
This is actually a common misconception. They're never selling land in the first place. Anybody who says they are putting words in Established Titles' mouth.
Now I can see where Trogly is coming from here, but I can't say I agree. Sponsorships of this size almost always have a contract, and the contract will include things like a certain amount of revisions. These revisions are so that if a YouTuber says something that is misleading about the product that they're advertising, the advertiser can cut that from the ad. And at this level of sponsorship, the segments that are made by YouTubers are approved or not approved by the company or an agent acting on their behalf. If something is misleading in a YouTuber's ad, it does fall back on the party that is paying for and approving that ad. It's also worth noting that Trogly is not innocent of doing this himself. 6 of his established titles ads included this.
And you can buy anywhere between 1 and 20 square feet of land in Scotland. They're never selling land in the first place. Anybody who says they are putting words in established titles' mouth. And read what each pack includes. It's a dedicated plot of land measuring the square footage of what you're wanting. A dedicated plot of land does not mean you're buying a plot of land. You are sponsoring that plot of land. I will agree that it could probably be put in better English.
It could be put a lot better. And I don't believe that's how most reasonable people would interpret that anyway. If I had a listing on Reverb for a dedicated Gibson Les Paul, if anybody, including Trogly, bought that and I said, thank you for the money, I'm also keeping the guitar, but I'll name it after you, I don't think anyone would be too pleased.
And the whole Laird thing was never meant to be official. It is just based on a historic land ownership custom. So I think this is where people are getting a little bit confused there, because it does say land ownership about this particular vintage custom. And I will agree that this might be a little bit misleading as well.
I agree.
What they are essentially selling you is a gag gift.
Exactly. That's what they're selling. Why are we trying to make it anything more than that? It never has been, except for YouTubers not correctly advertising it in their sponsored segments. Which, again, we can throw some blame back to ET. Their affiliate partnering brands need to do a better job at reviewing and making sure that the advertisements are clear.
I also agree with Trogly here, though I can say that I would be personally a bit harsher on the companies that are paying for and approving the misleading advertisements. If they didn't approve misleading advertisements, no one would be talking about this.
Now, established titles does not plant any trees.
This statement is completely misleading as well. It falls back on people don't fully understand. Established titles is really clear that they're not the ones doing the planting. They've taken the easy way out. They've partnered with One Tree Planted and Trees for the Future.
He's right, though there is a little bit more to this that I found, which I'm going to come back to in a second.
I have no doubt ET is getting rich off this operation, but to call them a scam is just not entirely fair. Starbucks is really overpriced coffee, but they're not scamming you because you're still getting a product people are willing to pay for it. This is the exact same thing. $50 might seem like a lot for what you're truly getting, but you're still getting what you paid for. It's not a scam. Because what does a scam mean? A scam means they're taking your money and they're not giving you anything.
Yeah, no, that's not what scam means. Not even close. The definition is a dishonest scheme. There are plenty of instances where Trogly himself has been scammed and has defined these interactions as scams. Take counterfeit guitars, for example. He paid for a guitar, he got a guitar. That doesn't make it not a scam. He got scammed. But with that said, I was still a bit on the fence with the whole idea of labeling established titles as a scam. Because after all, the one defining factor of a scam is that it has to be a dishonest scheme. And dishonesty, at least to me, has to be knowing. You have to be knowingly dishonest, not just incompetent. And to me, there was a chance that this company was just incompetent. After all, the parent company itself is Fail Ventures, who have 72 out of 78 ventures failed. Maybe they're just inept. I mean, that's what I thought anyway, but I've changed my mind. ET says that they donate money for every purchase into charities that plant trees, and that's fine, that's okay. You would assume that this donation is factored into the $50 price tag of an email with a PDF of a certificate with your name on it. You would think that the $1 to plant a tree would be taken out of that, but it doesn't seem to be. Your cart on the website automatically adds in an extra $8 for the tree planting pledge. It costs extra. And they also automatically tick the yes box for signing up to a subscription of $8 a month to plant 1 tree a month. Alright, I'm not exactly too fond of that, but wait for it. One of the charities that they use is One Tree Planted. It is a recognized tree planting charity. Nothing wrong there. Now if you go to One Tree Planted, you can donate to them to plant a tree. Do you know how much it costs? $1. So I'm really at a loss as to where $7 of the $8 for the tree planting pledge is going. Put it like this, if you stay subscribed to the Established Titles tree planting pledge for a year, right, that'll cost you $96. And how many trees will be planted? 12. If you take the same amount of money that you're giving to Established Titles to give to the tree planting charity, and just give it to the tree planting charity, they'll plant 96 trees. So 12 through Established Titles, or 96. That to me is dishonesty.
He's almost got 1 million views on this video, and I'm sure it's going to continue to blow up because of the sheep mentality of people going, oh yeah, it's a scam, it's a scam. But it's not. This video's title is not entirely fair. To call Established Titles a full-out scam is truly deceitful. Scam implies they take your money and give you nothing. ET still delivers you a product, so they aren't a scam. It should be renamed Established Titles, YouTube's biggest ripoff.
Yeah, I suppose, though I'm not sure if there's a huge difference between cheating someone, especially financially, and a dishonest scheme.
It's sad, really, how many people are taking these videos at face value and starting this big mob, and I really hated that guy's list, putting the name out of everybody. That way it gets shared to those content creators all the time.
Now what Trogly is referring to here is that the original creator of the video about Established Titles had a very long, very vast list of just about every YouTuber who had been sponsored by Established Titles. And I'd be inclined to agree with Trogly here. It didn't look the best. It looked a little bit like a hit list more than anything. It could be argued that it was to document just how vastly spread this sponsorship program was, though it didn't really feel like that. And he did take that list down after people started mentioning that. Now I think I've respectfully agreed and disagreed with different points brought up, though I am going to leave respect at the door for this point because I don't really believe it deserves any. Trogly commented on that original video with this. Naming all the creators that have been sponsored by this company feels like a witch hunt name and shame. That's fair enough, it could be very easily seen as that. When instead, if you truly feel ET is a scam, you should be thanking them for taking the sponsorship money away from the parent company as you casually skip the ads since you're not interested. You have to be joking. Thank you for getting paid thousands of dollars to promote something I think is a scam. Really? If you genuinely believe that people should be doing that, I don't know what to say. It's not really common practice for a business to pay huge sums of money to advertise their product to an audience who isn't buying. They plan on making that money back, and then some. That's, you know, business. So no, you don't get thanked. I think your thank you is in the paycheck. No.
So on principle, I'm going to stick with ET. They have booked me through December, but my ad is going to change quite a bit.
But anyway, after 24 hours of the original upload, the video that Trogly put up was unlisted, meaning that anyone who hadn't seen it couldn't see it without the link. He added to the description that he had unlisted the video to avoid it becoming a viral hit, which I'm not too sure about the logic, because he said this at the end of the video.
But I saw this as a huge injustice and a bunch of misinformation spreading, and I needed to speak up and say something.
Personally, if I thought that there was a huge injustice and I had to speak on it, I'd want people to hear what I had to say. But after one day of the video being unlisted, it was then privated, so now no one could see it. So I reached out to Trogly, told him I was making this video, and asked what happened here. Has he changed his mind from the initial video? Why is it taken down? And he gave me this statement, so I'm going to read it out. I'm done with the drama surrounding ET. I'm going back to what I do best, being the friendly Gibson fanatic that posts educational content daily. If people don't want to watch me anymore, I can understand. Yes, that is correct that no more ET ads will be placed. Even if they restructure, I'm done. Intentionally deceitful or not, many people feel they have been misled, or that ET is misleading, so that is all that matters. I believed in them to make the right changes and stood up for them at that moment, but they didn't change enough and continue to run misleading ads on Facebook. This is true, and to be fair, this bit of information did only come to light after Trogly had uploaded his original video. I mean, they literally just had to put a banner that said gag gift, not actually legally binding, you're sponsoring land, not buying it, onto the website, and they still could have been a viable company. but they didn't. My video was unlisted after 24 hours because I didn't want the algorithm to pick it up and attract people outside my immediate daily watching audience. That video was only made to inform my audience because I was getting emails about it and I wanted to be able to link them a video rather than explaining it via text. I knew more people than just that would see the video. It was removed yesterday when I learned ET was sending videos like mine to cancel order requests to persuade people to keep their orders. If someone wants a refund, it should be just given on a product like this. Their site says 60-day no-nonsense refund policy, so that is where I draw a line. Despite rumours of a 25% like to 75% dislike ratio, my video ended at a 69.1% like to 30.9% dislike ratio. 95 people decided they didn't want to watch my channel anymore. 45.6 thousand views were on the video. Most people only got halfway through. Regarding the calling out video, Scott has nothing against me, and I have nothing against him. We made up.
So as far as statements go, it wasn't too bad. People are allowed to change their minds, and it seems that that's what's happened here. And I would take into account that this change of mind did very much likely cost him a considerable amount of money. So that's it. Now, do I think established titles are the worst thing ever? No. But I don't like them either. But I don't blame any YouTuber really for taking the sponsorships themselves. Most of these sponsorships come through agencies, and it's kind of normally safe to assume that things that come through official agencies are kind of safe. And if Trogly had just been sponsored by them, I don't think anyone would have had any problems. It was his defense video. There were some points there that were very easy to disagree with. But yeah, that's my coverage of the established titles Trogly stuff. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.